I was hoping to do a big reveal, like a 3-minute chat and talk, and then introduce the superstar backstage. But we thought it was a room full of so much love and so many people that know who the superstar is backstage that it was pointless me doing it that way. Because it wouldn't have been a surprise, would it, to be honest with you? Someone else would walk through the door, you know. So I think we need to do what we always do when it's a meet and greet, is we need to give this woman a proper standing ovation and a scream and a shout, because the kids love that anyway. Katie Taylor!
Thank you.
I honestly, Katie, I did have a speech prepared to tell people what you've done, but I have a feeling there's enough people in this room that know more about you than I do, to be honest with you. What a room, eh?
Yeah, it's great. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. I'm excited to meet you all, and I'm sure there's some promising young fighters here today as well, so I can't wait to hear your story as well.
So what we're going to do is I'll have a little chat with Katie, not very much, because it's about all of you people that have come out in the cold on a Saturday afternoon, and then we'll take questions from the floor. Any questions? And I can see, I mean, it looks to me like there's dozens and dozens of young fighters here. As I turned in this morning into the complex, I told you this, Katie, as I turned in, there was a young girl about 9 years of age, 10 years of age, walking with her dad and carrying her head guard, something that you couldn't have seen 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, unless 10-year-old girls walk around carrying minds with head guards as a safety. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. It looks particularly nice to me. Now, there's a couple of things, that just a bit of homework if we can. Everlast's been around since about 1910, and Everlast, if you love movies and if you love fights, so if you love Muhammad Ali, Everlast. If you love Rocky Marciano, Everlast. And for those that may be a bit more modern, if you love Rocky Balboa, who was an actor, heavyweight champion of the world, 5'7", so you know it's a film. But he had Everlast shorts as well. Everlast shorts are everywhere. And as you go through looking at old pictures and modern pictures and the greatest fighters in history, you see Everlast. Then you come up to the last few years and you see Katie Taylor in Everlast. You see Katie Taylor wearing those shorts. You see Katie Taylor wearing their trademark gloves. And that's because in some ways, in my opinion, Everlast is, growing up in London in the 70s and the 80s, I knew liars who said they had a pair of Everlast shorts. No one knew anybody that had Everlast shorts. They were just worn by giants. You know what I mean, Katie? They were like these things that guys wore in black and white films, and Muhammad Ali wore them when he fought George Foreman and when he fought Joe Frazier. Surely no one could have a pair. Well, sport starts here, and you can have a pair. They're available. Okay, let me ask you this. What advice would you give if one of these boys or girls walk up to you and say, Katie, what got you motivated? What do I need to do to be a fighter? What would you tell a young child?
Well, I think, first of all, you have to love the sport. I think when I first walked into the gym, I had such a passion for my sport, and I just went for it with all my heart, and I made sure that nobody trained harder than me. I wasn't always motivated, but I was very, very disciplined, and I think that's very, very important for every single athlete who wants to succeed. You have to be disciplined. Even when you don't feel like getting up and training, you have to show up at the gym every single day. And those are the days that make the difference between winning and losing. And you're not always going to feel like you're in the mood for training. You're not always going to feel motivated, but it's very, very important to be disciplined. And I think that's probably the most important thing for any fighter, to show up day after day, week after week, month after month, to be consistent with your job. And
just keep going on it.
Just keep going.
Even on the bad days, the cold days.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let me ask you this. I was talking to a girl called Casey Rock. She's in this room somewhere. She's known Katie a long time. She went to the Olympics in London in 2012 when she was 10, and she watched Katie in the semi-final, and she boxed on her undercard when Katie came back from London in an amateur contest somewhere in Dublin, if I'm not mistaken. And Casey was telling me that when she was in the gym in Bray, she had Katie's hand-me-downs. So Katie would give her gloves or whatever you give her. And you know that Casey can probably remember everything you ever gave her. What was the first thing you got? Now that you're sponsored by this incredible, iconic boxing brand, Everlast, but can you remember the first freebie you got? Like the first time someone gave you some gloves or gave you some boots? Yeah. Can you remember?
We didn't have a lot growing up, so anytime we were in the boxing gym, I used to obviously run over and get the best gloves, for sparring.
The ones that weren't wet inside.
They're with the sweaty gloves, the sweaty headgear. But since then, I think even as a kid, my favourite Christmas gift, for example, would have been a pair of boxing gloves or a pair of wraps. A pair of boxing boots, those kind of...
At 10 and 11?
At 10 or 11, I wasn't a typical girl where I was looking for a Barbie or anything. I always wanted the boxing gear.
Barbie boxer, that's an idea. Why has there never been a Barbie boxer? Seriously, Action Man never had a boxer either.
That's right.
What is it? There was a scuba diver and a parachutist and every kind of killer, but not a boxer. Hey, that's a little gap in the market there.
There you go.
So with the... With that, getting those presents and getting those gifts, did having that stuff inspire you? Like, so if you've got like in your gym, you might be the only girl with a brand new pair of gloves, or the only boy with a brand new pair of boots. Did that inspire you?
Yeah, I think so. I think anytime I put on the new pair of gloves or wraps for Christmas, I just couldn't wait to get to the boxing gym that week and actually showcase what I had and get in and actually spar with them. I definitely loved getting the new boxing gear, and I felt that I'm going to be like Muhammad Ali today, or I'm going to be like Sugar Ray Leonard today. That's who I was thinking. I used to love watching all the old-time fighters.
We're in Everlast probably as well, by the way.
Exactly. Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, those kind of guys. I used to get super inspired just watching those fight clips.
Did you used to do this? And every boxer in this room, if you don't do it, then you might be telling a fib. Did you used to do this when you were young? 10 and 11, 12, watching those fighters, did you used to shadow box in your bedroom on your own and try and repeat what they were doing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Doing the Sugar Ray Leonard fresh stuff.
Exactly, and anytime I try to do the Sugar Ray Leonard, I used to get hit myself, so it didn't work out so well for me, but you do get so inspired watching those legends of the sport, and I think watching fight clips is so underrated. I think you learn so much from watching those guys, Marco Antonio Barrera, Sugar Ray Leonard,
Katie Taylor.
Well, the Tommy Hearns, all those guys are absolutely icons of the sport. And
one more question before I'll open the floor and you can get your questions in. When you first won a world title, there's the parade of belts there. That first night, whatever it was, 17, 18 consecutive world title fights, so a long time ago, his 7th fight or whatever. That belt, did you sleep with it? Was it on your pillow that night? I might ask your mother for truth here, because
I think my mother slept with it. I didn't.
Bridget, you kept it. So the belt stayed there. Yeah. Look, it's amazing how many fighters, even big heavyweights. I remember Anthony Joshua telling me about 6 years ago that the belt stayed on his pillow. There's a 17 stone, 18 stone, 6'7" man sleeping with a belt with diamonds and gold. I think that's a lovely image. I mean, that just shows how much it means. Right now, I see there's loads of fighters in the room. There's loads of mothers and fathers in the room. We've got a mic somewhere, I think. We've got a mic somewhere? There we go. If anybody's got a question for Katie, we would love to take it. We'd love to answer, because I don't want to ask all the questions. You can ask us some questions. Anyone got a question for Katie? There we go.
How you doing, Katie?
Hey.
This is actually on behalf of my granddaughter, who was a little bit shy.
Yeah.
She's actually an aspiring swimmer, and
amazing.
she aspires to be an elite level athlete as well.
Amazing, yeah.
In your opinion, you talked about determination and grit, but in terms of looking after your body, your nutrition and sleep, what's the most important?
Well, it's all important. The thing about being an elite athlete is that you have to take care of all of those components. It's a life of sacrifice, and you have to get the right sleep. You're only as good as your rest. You have to obviously fuel your body the right way as well. All of those things are important, and it's all about the extra 1%. That's what makes the difference between a gold medal and a silver medal. It's all about the extra 1% that you're going to gain every single week, and so You might think it's a sacrifice, but it's always worth it. You never ever, at the end of your career, you're never ever going to regret the life that you lived. Because I know I can't live a normal life. I'm training every single day, week after week, month after month, year after year. I can't do the things my friends have done throughout my life, but I can say that I have no regrets about that. I know that I've lived a life that God has planned for me, and this is the gift that God has given you, that God has given your granddaughter, and you just have to go for it all your heart, and that's it.
Did you ever have any sort of second thoughts about it when you were in that very impressionable age?
I think for a brief moment maybe I had a second thoughts about it in my late 18 years, but I'm a person who never drank in my whole life. I did make those sacrifices along the way, but I think I came to the realisation that this is what I was born to do. I was born to fight, I was born to box, and I just cannot compromise in any way. I hate that word compromise.
Even now?
Even now. I'm not going to be a person who ever compromises, and I want to know that when I hang up the gloves, I've given it my all. And
when you hang up the gloves, you're going to do something, well, Bridget will probably agree, you're probably going to do something like, I don't know, ridiculous endurance running or something, like those 200-mile races. No, listen, hands up if you think Katie Taylor's going to hang up the gloves and just wander away and shop. It's not going to happen, is it? It couldn't possibly happen. You know it's not going to happen because that's just part of your system. You can't just stop, can you?
I know, that's it. And I do genuinely love to train as well, so... yeah.
Let's get another question. Someone got the mic somewhere. There we go. Let's get in the thick of it. Thank you. Brilliant.
I was wondering, when are you going to Croke Park?
It's a great question.
Straight for the jugular.
Absolutely.
Right, I'm sacked. I'm going home.
I think you should be my manager, actually. That would be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? If I had a fight in Croke Park, I'm still hanging on to that hope that I'll maybe someday fight there. I think that would be the pinnacle of my career, to be honest, if I had a chance to fight there. So we're still trying to get that fight to happen in Croke Park. So we'll see what happens. So say a few prayers for me.
Well done. Another one. Is there another? I saw another hand back there somewhere. Unless it's all Croke Park questions. Stand up.
What's your favourite competition that you've ever done?
My favourite competition that I've ever done would have been the Olympic Games, because I think when I was around your age, that's when I started dreaming of becoming an Olympic champion, and my whole childhood was based around that dream. Every single day I was dreaming about that Olympic gold medal. And when I had a chance to stand on top of the podium with that gold medal, seeing the tricolour go up, well, that was just a special moment for me. And the London Olympics for me it's just so special for me and my family. And even the Rio Olympics as well is very, very special, even though it didn't go so well for me. But to have a chance to represent my country in the biggest competition of all, both Olympic Games were very, very special, and that without a doubt was the pinnacle of any athlete's career. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great question. Katie, in London 2012, there was an awful lot of pressure on you. First time women's boxing had been there, and you were already the poster girl in some ways. You'd already won worlds and Europeans. Did you feel that pressure, or did you actually use that pressure to give you strength? Because the noise, remember, the fight with Natasha Jonas remains the loudest event at the London 2012 Olympics. Wasn't even for a medal, for God's sake.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely. I felt the weight of the country on my shoulders during that competition, but at the same time, I was prepared. I was ready. This is in a few fights I have a chance to become an Olympic champion. And I even remember before the Natasha Jonas fight, my first fight in the Olympic Games, I was putting the gear on with the Olympic rings on. I can't believe I'm actually, this is it. This is what I've dreamed of. Basically, I'm actually boxing for my country now in the Olympic Games. And I had goosebumps nearly just putting that gear on that day. And
we had goosebumps watching it.
Yeah, amazing moment of that, to have a chance to fight for a gold medal in front of 10,000 Irish people.
It felt like that, didn't it? Yeah.
Those tickets were bought way in advance, so people were expecting me to win a gold medal, and so there was definitely pressure, but pressure is a privilege, and
pressure is a privilege. Anyway, let's get another question. There we go.
Hiya, Katie.
Hey.
The discipline and motivation thing that you mentioned, what's your self-talk like on the days that are a little bit harder to show up?
I just say to myself, these are the days that make the difference between win and lose, because a lot of the times you're not in the mood to train, you're going into the gym tired sometimes, you're training twice a day, 6 days a week, you know, it's you're pushing your body to the limit, basically. You're beating your body into submission before the fights. So there's days when you're not in the mood, you're tired, but that's what makes a champion. And everybody wants to be a champion, but not everybody's willing to work your body so hard to become that champion. So I know that those days that do make the difference. And even in the days that I'm feeling low or whatever, I have an amazing family, an amazing team around me, and I'm able to be vulnerable with those people as well. I'm able to be honest with them, say I'm having a bad day, I've had a bad spar, or whatever. I'm able to talk openly about that. So I think that makes a huge difference as well, to have people around me that I trust, that have my back. And I think throughout my whole career, that's why I'm still able. I'm in the position I'm in today, because I have an amazing team of people around me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie, for everything that you've done for us, for Ireland and all the rest. You say you train day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you like to do? What do you look forward to doing on day 7?
I go to church. I just relax, I rest. I pretty much don't do anything on a Sunday, to be honest. I just like to put my feet up, maybe watch a bit of Netflix, just read a book maybe.
Speedboat.
Speedboat, no, the speedboat's gone.
I know it's gone, but
that was an impulse buy, a terrible impulse buy. I got a speedboat a few years ago, and maybe for a few weeks, as what am I doing with the speedboat? But anyway, I just like to relax and rest and just recover really for the start of the rest of the week, really. Yeah.
Another one.
Katie, what was your hardest fight?
Who's saying that?
Where are you? Jump up, stand up. Let's have a look at you. She does. Can you see her?
My
Hi,
hardest
Katie.
fight.
Sorry,
Go on,
she wants to know what was your hardest fight
Yeah.
that you've had.
Yeah, I think every fight at this stage is very, very tough. At the top level, every fight is a tough fight. Every fight is so different as well. I'm not really too sure if I could pinpoint one particular fight that's been my toughest, but obviously both Serrano fights are very, very tough battles. The Chantal Cameron fights are very tough battles. Just even the Olympic Games, the pressure that I felt going into those fights, they were very, very tough to deal with as well. So I'm not sure if I can actually pinpoint one fight that was the toughest, but every single fight I have had to show a lot of heart and grit, and a lot of the determination, and I just had to bite down on my gum shield a lot of times and just fight with heart, and that's what has won me the last few fights. I think it's shown a lot of heart. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, Steve here. It's not a question, Katie. It's just to say that I'm involved in a local boxing club, and I'm sitting in the room here, and there's 4 girls actually sitting here who have gone with Ireland to European Games. Amazing. And brought home medals, and they aspire to be the next Katie Taylor, so.
Amazing.
You know, you talk about local girls, Irish girls that have got a direct association with Katie through birth and through someone that maybe met her, that type of stuff. But when you go around the world, and it's not me bragging, when you go around the world and you cover fights in Mexico Australia, you cover fights in Europe, you cover fights in Saudi Arabia, you cover fights in America. I can assure you, I don't think I've been in a gym, including Mike Tyson's gym in Saudi Arabia, where there isn't a picture of Katie Taylor. I don't think I've been anywhere. Yeah, no, I can't think of anywhere where there's not been something, a picture of Katie Taylor or women that are inspired by her. And I have a thing, I've been doing it for about 10 or 12 years now. I first interviewed Katie in about 2010, and I've been doing it for about 10 years. I've been asking any female boxer I ever talk to, whether it's Claressa Shields or whether it's a girl having her 5th fight, it doesn't matter where she's from, and every single one of them will use Katie as inspiration. And I think that really kind of says it all, really. This is just this is the easiest job I've ever had, by the way. Let me just tell you that now. I could have come in here, put my feet up, lit a cigar and said, Katie, come out and talk for 15 minutes. Because what a pleasure. I couldn't do this, what we're doing here. There isn't a man or a woman in boxing that would be in a room surrounded by so many people that have been inspired by him or her. There's nowhere. I assure you, there's nowhere. This is a unique event you're at here today. I really feel that way. Let's have another question.
Why did you choose to be a boxer?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what, my dad was a boxer, and my 2 brothers boxed as well, and my mother was also the first female boxing judge in the country. So I was surrounded by a family of fighters. I have a sister as well who doesn't box, but it's I was just surrounded by a family of boxers. I guess. And as a kid, I was involved in so many different sports. I was playing football. I was involved in track and field. I was involved in basketball in school, Gaelic football. But the minute I walked into the boxing gym, it just took hold of my heart. I just fell in love with the sport. I fell in love with the boxing gym. I loved the atmosphere in the boxing gym. I even loved the smell of the boxing gym. Just all of that, I just fell in love with, completely in love with the sport, and I knew this was going to be my passion for the rest of my life. So yeah.
For the rest of our life. Come on, next one. Go on.
How did you feel when you lost your first pro fight?
Thanks for bringing up the loss, by the way. No, it was obviously very, very heartbreaking. You never want to be in that position where your hand doesn't get raised at the end of the fight, but I think that's where all the lessons are learned as well through the losses. I think I've learned more from my losses as an amateur and a pro than I have from any of my wins. That's where all the growth happens. You're always forced to analyse the loss a little bit more. You're after the fight, you're thinking, what can I do different? What do I need to do different? How can I change? How can I improve? You're just forced to analyse all that stuff after a loss. And so you always come out a better fighter from it. You never want to be in that position, but when it does, you just have to learn from it and move on and push forward. And I'm thankful that I was able to rectify that loss in the fight after that as well. And I feel like I am a better fighter because of that loss. Even those losses are super disappointing, very heartbreaking, but you come out a better fighter from it, and that's how it has to happen. Yeah.
Katie, what was that loss when you had that massive streak, unbeaten as an amateur, and you lost somewhere like Bulgaria or Romania? And I got a phone call at midnight from RTE to talk about it because you'd been stitched up. It was, I'm not just saying that.
Yeah,
where was that? Can you remember? It was that massive sequence you had. I don't think it was in the Europeans. It was in an
multi-nations. I think that was in Bulgaria.
Yeah, Bulgaria. And it was late at night, and you got properly robbed.
Yeah. It was.
What does that feel like? Because you've not lost to a great opponent. You've just you've been not dealt fairly by the 5 judges.
I think in a situation like that, when you feel like you have been robbed and it's quite blatant that you have been robbed, you have the reassurance, okay, that was just a bad decision. Yeah. But at the same time, it's still not nice to come out with a loss. But you just kind of push on. You learn from those things, and the times that I've had a few losses as an amateur fighter. I think I've always had a good character to actually come back from those losses. I've had a great family who are always encouraging me, and it just gives you the strength and the encouragement to come back and to be a better fighter because of that.
So loss is not the end of the world.
Definitely not the end of the world.
Although I've got to tell you, Katie does not like losing. All right, I can assure you.
Yeah.
Let's have another question. Oh, there's lots now. Get a mic in. There we go, darling.
Hi,
Hi,
Katie.
hi, how are you?
Good. Who was your favourite person to fight?
My favourite person to fight? I think the last couple of fights with Amanda Serrano have been very, very special because she's a legend in the sport herself, and to share the ring with such a big icon in women's boxing as well was very, very special. And we made history together in Madison Square Garden. We made history again fighting on Netflix the last time. So we shared two very, very special fights together. I think our names are always going to be embedded together in history. I think she's just a great opponent, and I love challenging myself against the best opponents. And I think we get the best out of each other as well. And I think the fighters like that always just bring out the best in you. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, probably.
Anyone? There we go. We've got loads here. Go on.
Do you have any hobbies outside of boxing?
You saying that?
She's at the back. There we go.
Okay. Any hobbies? I think I need to come up with a few new hobbies.
Well, you're not retiring, are you?
Yeah.
Just checking.
I love I live a very boring life. I love going for walks. I love. I have a dog back in America. I love bringing the dog for a walk. I love just going to the cinema, maybe watching a movie. I love doing a bit of reading every now and then. So I actually live a very relaxed and a bit of a boring life. It's not too exciting for anybody. I think I just like to chill out and relax in my spare time. What about you? What's your hobbies?
No.
Let's do a couple more. Thank you.
Okay, so
Hi, how are you?
combo.
What's
What's your favourite combo?
combo? Oh, my favourite punch, I think, will be the jab. It's the most effective punch. It's the most important punch. The jab sets everything up. But my favourite combo, maybe a 1-2 left hook. I think that just comes off very naturally for me. But whatever combination I land with, that's always going to be my favourite combination. If I just land with a punch, I'm very, very happy with that.
Whatever lands, it's your favourite combo.
Whatever lands, basically. But I think the jab is definitely the most important punch in boxing, though. If you have a good jab, that sets yourself apart. It sets everything else up. And if you're fighting someone with a very, very good jab, it's very, very hard to get behind that jab. So that's definitely the one punch that every single fighter needs to perfect. Yeah.
Brilliant. See another one down here. I think there's another one. There we go.
Have you ever wanted to be something else, like anything else before a boxer?
No, actually, I think throughout my whole career, throughout my whole childhood, I just wanted to be an Olympic champion. I wanted to be a fighter, and I'm very lucky that I grew up with that dream, and I grew up knowing what I wanted to be and wanted to do. I grew up with such a focus, and I don't think I had a normal childhood. I was getting up to train every day before school. I was getting up to train, and then after school I was training afterwards as well. It was a very, very unusual life for a child. But I grew up very, very grateful and thankful that I knew what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do in life, and I just never looked back. Yeah.
Whoa, should we take one more? If we've got one, someone. Have you got one?
Hi.
What is your favourite belt?
My favourite belt,
What's your favourite belt?
Black.
Yeah, the black one. Yeah, I think that they're all super important, but I think the Ring Magazine belt is the one that everyone wants to win. That's the most iconic belt. That's the belt you'll see in the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
And if you have this belt, it means that you're the undisputed champion, and that to me is obviously very, very special. So yeah.
There's one more at the back. Thank you.
What age were you on your first proper fight?
what age was I?
Yeah, your first proper fight.
Yeah, my first proper fight was when I was 15 years of age. But I started boxing as a 10-year-old, and women's boxing wasn't even a sanctioned sport when I first started. So I was in the gym with all the guys, sparring all the guys, but I had no competition to go to, and I had to actually pretend to be a boy to get some fights early on. I had to tuck my hair up in the headgear just to get a few fights, but when I took the headgear off then and people realised I was a girl, there was always uproar, so that didn't last.
Especially if you won.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a very, very crazy time for me, but then as a 15-year-old I was involved in the first ever female fight in Ireland and against Alana Audley Murphy, and we actually became great friends after that. I made history back then as a 15-year-old, and it was a very, very hard path, and I'm so grateful right now that those female fighters coming up don't have to go through what I had to go through. Those obstacles are removed now, and the most satisfying part about this journey is that I'm seeing so many successful female fighters now in the country, and that just puts a huge smile on my face.
Well, it puts a huge smile on your face because you were responsible for removing those barriers, not just here in Ireland, but globally, worldwide. Without you, the Olympic movement wouldn't have allowed the women in 2009 to box in 2012. That's fact, it's not. And when we were in London, it was Katie's face was everywhere. So that pressure, I felt pressure, and I was just watching from the seats and the stands and reporting. Let's put our hands together again for Katie Taylor. That was an incredible session. Thank you, Katie.